There are many disturbing questions that the average playthrough of DMC5 raises. What exactly was Malthus' whole deal? How did the kids ring the Sparta household's death metal doorbell that requires fountains of blood sacrifice on their way back from school? Why did Itsuno decide to cut the graphic Judecca sex scene from Mission 11? Where did Virgil's hairline go? But the one that boggles the mind most of all. Is Dante British? Despite the DMC series being Japanese-made, there has always been a strong Western influence, with them going as far as to not even dub the games in any other language than English until DMC4. However, the obvious go-to when considering the heritage of Dante's and Virgil's names would be to assume they are Italian, reinforced by things such as Nero Angelo. DMC4 would further cement this, with Fortuna being heavily inspired by Italian architecture and a variety of enemies and themes on the soundtrack being Italian titled. Yet when DMC5 came around, establishing Redgrave City as Dante's hometown, all of a sudden the aesthetic influence took a massive shift towards London, with its very recognizable red phone booths, buses, the subway system that you shank people in, and Mission 1 even very clearly just taking place on the Tower Bridge. Leading one to question, have there been any indications of this being the case up until this point in the franchise? I wasn't so sure at first, but did some digging through my mind palace before being reminded of how not only did Dante and Virgil have their iconic shirtless fight on top of the Temminigru during finest British weather, but DMC 1 and 4 as well featured prolonged sequences set within the gloomy downpour. This eventually leading me to realize how both of the twins had their own dedicated attacks, Rainstorm and Heavy Rain, which they used to cope with their trauma of experiencing no sunny days during their childhood, which is the canonical reason that sending Heavy Rain back at Virgil with Royal Guard will instantly kill him as he is forced to confront his past. The signs were slowly becoming clearer to me, a flash of young Hideki Kamiya forcing itself into my mind, standing proudly with Space Harrier on the brain and a Union Jack on the back of his glove. But the final nail in the coffin. You know how the other day I uploaded that video analyzing the lock-on mechanic? To draw the thumbnail, I took a nice close look at the actual design of the targeting reticle, and it was the letters WXR or WXRR mirrored around following the curve of a cycle. WXR, if read out, sounds like the German word Wichser, which literally means wanker. Dante is calling every single fucking enemy he fights in DMC3 a wanker. He's been British all along. This is not an April Fool's joke. This shit is fucking real. If you're interested in more riveting insights of this sort, subscribe so you don't miss my coverage of the anime.